My first trip back in 2006, I had no idea what was about to happen. I had no idea what to expect. I had no real, even though I've studied for all these years, studied scripture, studied to become a deacon, I had really no concept of geography or any of that. And so my first trip in 2006 was an eye-opener. I'll never forget first trip in the Annunciation. And we're celebrating Mass, and I'm standing here, and to my right is the grotto, and I'm thinking, I looked over and I'm thinking, Lord, I don't know for sure that that's exactly where the angel came to Mary, but it's a whale of a lot closer than Dallas, Texas. But here's the point. Jesus is just as real at White Rock Lake as he was at the Sea of Galilee. He's just as real and present when we walk in the beautiful fields around the town as he was at the top of the Mount of Beatitudes. So when we know Christ, when we experience him in reality in our lives, he is present with us here, he's present with us there, and that's a beautiful reality. We just arrived in Jerusalem. And I remember to this day, I put my bag down on the floor, and all of a sudden, for the first time I'd ever heard it in my life, the call to prayer began. Where, broadcast all over the city, and here we hear this Muslim call to prayer. It's enchanting, it's haunting, and boy, gets your attention. And it was then that I thought, Lord, this is the Holy Land. It's holy to the Muslims. It's holy to the Jews. It's holy to us Christians. So why are we trying to kill each other? No answer. A few days later, we were in Bethlehem. And we were at the birthplace of Jesus. And we were doing what pilgrims do when you go to the birthplace of Jesus. You sing Christmas carols. We were singing Silent Night. I didn't realize it at the time how blessed we were on that particular trip. There was just hardly anybody there. There were 19 of us on that pilgrimage, and we just stood there for, 10 minutes, singing Christmas carols and praying. And all of a sudden, I looked up. Coming down the steps was another group of pilgrims. So we all moved back. Obviously, they were pilgrims from Japan, and they came down the steps, and they stood there, and they began doing what pilgrims do when they come to Bethlehem. They began singing Silent Night in Japanese. So we sang with them in Japanese and in English. And one of the pilgrims turned around and he looked at me and says, "It's all the same language, isn't it, Deacon?" I said, "Yeah, it is." And that's when the Lord spoke to my heart so strongly. He said, until the whole world hears and embraces my son's message of love and forgiveness, there will be no peace. To be there, to experience the place where that message of love and forgiveness had its conception and its birth, it's where that message walked the beautiful shores of the Sea of Galilee. That's where that message died and rose from the dead. That's where the message began. And you know what? If the Christians in the Holy Land go away, that message is going to be lost in that place of the very birth of the message. It's one of the beautiful things about the foundation and the commitment of the foundation to keep the Christians in the Holy Land. And that's part, again, of my dedication for helping bring people back. So that particular experience has been very motivating to me from that very moment back in 2006. The pilgrimage is the experience of the reality of Christ for all of these 2,000 plus years. But the awakening comes in seeing the plight of the Christians who live there. And that reality translates then to the need to help support them. That's what the Franciscan Foundation for the Holy Land is doing. The Franciscan Foundation for the Holy Land is stepping up at a time desperately needed to help keep Christians in the